So just be careful what you
We're
say.
just talking about.
We're talking books.
We're talking.
Talking about what?
Penelope Douglas, I think is the author. They're twisted.
Somehow it seems appropriate that the library board is talking about books. See? Well, no, they're probably friends.
Okay.
And Chris, I'm just gonna tell you, it's a little difficult for me to see you, Kelly too. No, you can stay there, but don't think that I'm not calling on you for a reason, because the only reason would be I didn't notice from a facial expression or something, so if you wanna say something.
Just say,
Say
hey, you,
something.
we
Hey,
didn't.
It could start with Diane, and then you could end with Diane.
Okay.
But I just noticed when I I stood up for the whole thing, but I just noticed that, when I sit down, I don't really see that many faces. So I won't get that nuanced, I'm gonna jump in to say something. Anything, just don't let me
Yep.
miss you.
Just,
Don't worry.
don't let you pass us by.
Okay, folks, we are all set. I've just been informed that we are live and we are recording. So. Welcome, everyone, to Lucy Robbins Wells Library Board of Trustees meeting for Monday, August 21st, 2024. Just to get it officially out there. I'll move into roll call with Elizabeth, if you would.
George Bernaldo,
Here.
Andy Rucker, Kelly DeHaas,
Here.
Anna Eddy,
Here. She's remote.
She's remote, good.
Pam Canary,
Here.
Colleen Krupp, Iris Larson, Leanne Mankey,
Here.
Maureen O'Connor Lyons,
Here.
Chris Riley,
Here.
Neil Ryan, Christine Shushin,
Here.
Diane Stam,
Here.
Lisa Maston,
Here.
Karen Dunner,
Here.
Sheila Rowell,
Here.
David Nagel, and Kim Rada.
Here.
Super. Thank you, everyone. Do we have anyone online for public participation?
Do not see me.
And I don't see anybody in there. Yeah, this is gonna be me today. I'm gonna be the bobbing head. I don't see anybody in the room for public participation. Okay, any reports from town liaison? Kim, you have anything you wanted to share at this point?
Nothing at the moment. We have a council meeting tomorrow evening. So I made a note at the next board of trustees meeting, but I think we're all looking forward to the book sale, and there'll be several of us, I think, that will be volunteering at some point in some way, so we're looking forward to it.
Good, I know they can always use the help.
I think we are looking forward also to the presentation. About the concept plan and the.
January, don't
And the
rush us,
proposed, so
January.
no, that's all right. We all have a ton on our plate, but we're looking forward to having them all come and present to us.
Okay, great. All right, thank you. Any questions for town council? No? All right, secretary's report. George?
No.
Nothing to report, thank you. Yes,
I'm not the secretary,
oh,
but
yes, but.
I did
Just-
send a get well card to Andy on behalf of the board.
Thank you. Appreciate it. I know many others sent out individual notices to him.
Yeah,
Sure,
and
he
there was a string of
appreciated it.
emails, but.
Thank you.
just-
It is
It
nice.
is.
Okay, moving on next, minutes, do we have any updates or corrections for the minutes? This would be the business meeting from last month? No? Okay, any, I'll make a motion to accept the minutes as presented.
Second,
Maureen seconds?
For the September 9th regular meeting.
Business meeting?
Yes.
Yeah, you know I gotta go through the whole slow, right? Okay. And Maureen seconded, any further discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, motion carries.
I abstained because I wasn't there.
Thank you. Next, The next, we sent out the annual minutes, but we don't approve those until the next annual meeting. But I've always felt it's a lot easier to remember what we said this month than in a year from now. So those are there to read and go through. And then the other minutes that we had were our special meeting, minutes from the architect, if you, read through those. Any corrections or comments on those?
No.
So I would entertain a motion to,
I think I had.
uh-oh.
I know, I
let's
don't
give
have
her a
them in
moment.
front of me. Oh, I can go backwards when we don't, do we have a copy?
I have a copy here.
Special meeting?
Yeah, just give me one quick second. I know that it was just on this.
Well, I'll make a motion to accept. We can amend when we get her changes, right?
We could.
Doesn't matter.
Quick. In the meantime, I will pass out.
Yes.
Meals online. In the meantime, I will pass out committee assignments. I did remember as I was running out the door to pass these out electronically as well. And I was gonna give these to Colleen to pass out unless you want me to pass them out. Okay. Anything?
Well, I can't find it.
Okay.
It was minor, but.
All right.
Was it a spelling error?
Should
or
you
was
come
it
up to something else, we can
We can always.
reopen it next meeting?
Yeah.
Right.
It wasn't earth shattering.
All right, in light of that, then I would ask for a motion to approve the minutes as written.
I'll make a motion to approve the special meeting minutes.
Thank you, Christopher. Do I have a second? Iris, second, thank you. All those in favor? Any opposed? Motion carries. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Those are all the minutes. Next is the review of the annual activities calendar and the committee assignment list. We just get to October for committees, or activity council. So, we confirmed the next race date, which is the third Sunday in May. Our Hanel concert, we had one, last month. Was it actually in September? We had one last month and, we're having one in December. One of the things we need to do is update that pamphlet, the write-up that we have about what Hanel is. I think needs to be updated. There might be a few misstatements in there that probably no one but the Hanel Foundation would recognize. So that's what's for Hanel. It's the Sugar Tones, I believe, coming in December. Friends, Sheila, are you staying as the as our designated Friends liaison? Good. And then I believe, on our committee assignment, we have some folks signed up as, Hanel liaisons. We'll talk about those. We'll schedule the House Committee walkthrough and Investment Committee quarterly report. How's that? So I just want to take a moment to go over the committee assignments. So I did the best that I could with some chairpersonships, changing around a little bit and some people moving around, but normally if you indicate that you're interested in something, I try to get you on that. I'd like to thank and welcome George and Chris. They've both taken on not only some corporate officer positions this year, but they've also taken on a chairmanship of a committee. So, again, Christopher, thank you for volunteering for being vice president and moving into the chair role for facilities and site. And George, thank you for being secretary and agreeing to take the chairmanship for communications. I think that's great. And I think new eyes and new voices always help us move forward. So I'm just gonna go down the line quickly for those of you who may be new to this, and I know there's a couple of them that are. But as we look at the positions as we go across, you'll see it says budget, and then you'll see a red letter C for the chairperson. So Leanne is chair of budget. She, I volunteered her last year and she didn't argue enough this year not to be on it. So you see how my thought process works. I'm also on budget committee, and Andy Brucker is on budget. He had asked for that. Under communications, we have George as chair. I'm on that. Let me just say that I'm on every committee because I'm the president, but I don't go to every committee meeting. So what I hope to do is attend 1 or 2 meetings. Certainly if we're doing something and we're at a critical stage, I would be more involved in the meetings. I like to keep my hand in, but we've got a lot of committees and even I don't have that much time in my schedule. So I'm on the committees. I like to be copied on the notes and what happens. I like to be invited to the meetings, and I go to as many as I can. Other folks on communication, we have George, we have Kelly, because Kelly, you came up with those wonderful statements. So we decided that you were very good at assimilating information and making it understandable and presentable. Christopher Riley had asked to be on communication, Pam Canary, and Pauline Crook. So those are the folks that are on communications. Facility and site, and I know you can read this, but because we have some new chair people, I just wanted to go through what happens with that. So Christopher Riley is on facility and site, and remember, that's the building renovation. That doesn't mean that we can't continue to have special meetings for the whole board when it's appropriate, but these are the people that are gonna keep, working this down the field until it gets finished. So, on facilities, we have Andy Brucker, me, Iris Larson, Kelly DeHaas, Christopher Riley, Leanne Menke, Maureen Lyons. Fund development, that's Anna is chair of that, and George Bonarco is on it, Christopher Riley, Neil Ryan, and Pam Canary are on fund development along with Anna. House, I'm chair of House at this point. I would entertain if somebody else was interested in that. But in the meantime, the other folks on House are Anna Eddy, Christine Shushin, George, Iris, Maureen, and Neil Ryan and Pauline. Okay, investment, Andy Brucker, Neil Ryan is chair for this. Andy Brucker, Iris Larson, and Leanne Menke are on investment. PEP is a very important committee. It's policies and procedures for us. It's where we put new board members on to begin with, and we like to sprinkle in some seasoned board members. We get some good advice back and forth as we do policies, but it is our policy to put new board members on PEP, so that was an automatic for Kelly. We have Christine, George, Kelly, Christopher, Maureen, Pam Canary, and Pauline Crook as chair for that. We have technology committee. We have the only person that signed up for that was Anna, so we might have to talk to Anna to see what she's thinking or where we might go with that. Yes. And then the next would be the liaison for Friends. And we have Anna Eddy, Christine Shushin, me, Maureen Lyons, and Neil is usually in there, don't I have
No.
Neil in there?
No.
Maureen's not. Maureen's not. You
Oh,
picked up
Neil's
Neil.
on there. Even with all the color coding, I can't read across a straight line. So it is Neil. Thank you.
What did Neil do?
Just I was paying attention.
What did
And
Neil
then,
do?
You're on the Friends. committee.
Friends liaison.
Oh, yeah, I've always been that, yeah.
yes,
Yeah, I've always had.
we
been
know
the
that,
friends.
we just can't read. And then we have the liaison for the Hanel series, and again, that's Anna. And Maureen have really been doing, did that line up correctly?
Yes.
And Maureen have been doing the heavy lifting. I usually just say, yeah, that sounds good. But they've done the research and lining up with the talent, which is good. And then last but not least, race committee. We are all on race committee and expected to attend the race committee meetings and help pull off that major fundraiser every
So
year.
even though your names aren't checked off, Kelly and Pam, you're on.
Oh, you're on. Yeah, I just didn't get that far. Everybody's on there. And starting January, we will, start meeting a little bit earlier, 6:30, what have you. And that's when we have our 5K race meeting. And then we roll right into this meeting, and we try to have that meeting stop by 7, okay? So sorry to go in such detail, but I thought we had enough new people, that it made sense to go through that. Does anybody have any questions or thoughts?
I would just say my last name's spelled wrong in here.
I have it spelled 2 different ways. Every time for me, it's a 50-50 shot.
Bernocco. But it does sound like there's an A in there, so it's common.
I apologize. Probably picked up from last year, when I wrote on the paper the correct way and never got it into the computer, so I apologize for that. And then one other thing that I wanted to say to the chairs, and to the rest of the folks here. And I know I'm gonna be guilty of it right now, but we seem to have long meetings because we seem to have mini committee meetings at our board meeting. And really, the committee work should be done in your individual committee meetings. And then reports, updates, questions, requests for funding should be what happens here at the board. And that doesn't mean that if one committee is reporting and somebody else has a question, that I don't want the questions to be asked, but it shouldn't be a top to bottom, this is what we did, this is how we made our, agreements, this is what I want to know if we can do it or not, and, take a minute now to redo this, right? It should be a report, and then maybe we'll get home in a more timely, manner from our
Well,
meetings.
If I may, and
Yes.
also in the past, we've asked chair people to send a recap of their meeting via email to the board members, so they have that information in front of them, and if
It
that
helps,
questions or.
It helps to read the things ahead of time. For instance, we're gonna look for approval for a pamphlet to advertise our library layout or something like that. It would be really nice if that pamphlet was sent when Lisa asks for, what are you gonna talk about, what's happening, right? First of all, please respond to her. Second of all, if you have something like that you want the group to read ahead of time, or even if it's a longer document, send it, well before that. But at least, send it so that we can send it out to the board and folks have a chance to read through it quickly. So we're not like, wait, what is it? Let me read that. Thank you, Maureen, for that point. And I think that will help everybody, stay on track and move forward a little bit more quickly as we go through things, or have intelligent questions instead of questions, after it's been presented. Any thoughts or questions on that? No? Good. Next month will be excellent, and by May we will have slipped off of that mark again, but hopefully we can, stay a little bit more true to that. Phew, I think that's the end of review annual activities and committee assignments. Next up would be treasurer's report from Leanne Mankey.
Okay, I did send it out for you. There's a lot of information this month. Basically, the checking account, which is the unrestricted fund, is at $68,077.34. The restricted funds in the TD money market are $41,278.09. And the non-investment unrestricted funds at Kingston is at $276,669.95. I have given you a recap of the restricted funds, which is completely up to date. One thing that isn't reported is that our taxes are currently with the accountant. I prepped them, got everything set, and he's just doing the filing for the IRS, the 941 that we have to have in by November 15th. So I'm expecting a call that it's all done and handled, and I'll go pick up the computer and what have you shortly with that. Just so you're aware, in terms of some of the trusts and bequests that I've gone through, if you look at the TD Bank unrestricted fund, you will see that we have received the final, the one-time distribution from the estate of Patty Foley, a former board member. She very generously left us unrestricted funds of $13,355.52, and those are in our coffers now. I misspoke because I have Isabel in my head. the Hooker Trust Endowment, which has been passed on, was established in 1967 by Margaret Hooker. Isabel is the last descendant who passed, which then is when the trust dissolved. That's why I have Isabel in my head and typed it accordingly. We have received now, since the end of September, all the funds have transferred, and we had to determine what the base transfer amount was. We cannot use the endowment for anything. We can use the gains and income generated for anything we wish. So that's why it's in its whole separate account. I was able to finally get a determination from the Bank of America, which is not in your report. And the balance that we're starting with is $342,898.12. So anything over that amount, we are free and clear to use. We can leave it in the account. We don't have to pull it out, but we have to keep that amount as our base. So that's huge, because that frees our ability up. For example, a lot of our race income pays our bills. We have about $25,000 worth of bills that we have to pay every year for basic items that occur here in the library, subscriptions, insurance, accounting, etc. But if we can pull that off of the race, it then frees us up to say, okay, the race is going to raise money for the children's department or expansion or what have you.
I do have a question regarding that. You said that, there's that 342,000 that needs to be, maintained.
Right.
Now, I suppose, if we invest or, whatever.
There is a
there
fluctuation factor in terms of like
Okay.
investment, like if it goes below,
Okay.
and we're building that in, we're building up a trust document with Kingston. That's one of the things that investment
Okay.
we'll talk about. We're going to have to meet and discuss some of the parameters of that. But that's the base figure that
Yeah.
was intended for what we consider from our base factor and then go from there.
Okay, yeah, I was just making sure that if there was like a loss or
No,
something
if there's
that
a loss
that we
that we
weren't
get
having to
any-
feed it to keep it up.
No, we don't have to move money back, but we do have to keep that figure in mind. And that's one of the reasons you might want to keep, we're not going to spend, say we invest in, let's assume 10%. Wouldn't it be lovely to get $35,000 a year? But say we only use 25 and leave 10, that would be your reason to keep your monies in with the principal.
Okay,
And then the last one is the Johnson Trust. Donald and Violet Johnson have combined trusts, and Violet passed and Donald has since passed. They're dissolving them piece by piece. We have just signed the paperwork for the Violet Trust, which is about 47,000. Again, that's unrestricted funds. So this is huge. We haven't gotten the monies yet, but it will work through, and I anticipate that it will close out sometime in 2025. We are dealing with probate, so. And that's all I have, if you have any questions. It's really good news. I mean,
Yeah,
it's,
that's good news.
it just shows you that
Yes,
people are
absolutely.
thinking of us, and
Yeah.
it's amazing, so.
A lot of work, Leanne, thank you.
Yes, I know how much work you've put on to this recently, and I appreciate it above and beyond the normal accounting that we do to pay our bills.
I
It's
did
great.
have I did have one question. Leanne, the Hooker Fund, what was considered the starting value of it?
The starting value is, according to the Bank of America, they've given us a distribution amount. I think I sent you a copy of the email from, Ryan, Wright.
Yes,
She's the
yeah,
Bank
yep.
of America Trust Administrator. The starting figure is 342,898.12.
Okay.
Because the amounts that we have now in Kingston, we've had a really good month in the stock market, and Dean has put it into
Yeah.
play. So the amounts are actually already increased. If you look, we were at 356 as of September 30th.
Okay.
So, of course, that can change on a dime.
Excellent. Thank you, Leanne. Any other questions for Leanne? No? Good. All right, moving on, we'll look for the director's report. Thank you, Lisa. Just a couple of notes. Lisa's sitting here, but she's not really back full-time from surgery, so let's be mindful of her time when she is here. And if she has to get up and move around or start taking some pillows to do that.
PT.
Welcome back. We're glad to see you're doing as well as you are.
I do want to thank Karen, has done a wonderful job handling. We have days where she sits and has her schedule for the day of what she's gonna get done, and nothing gets done because things happen, but she's done a wonderful job. So she and Carolyn have really done a great job in the admin office.
Super.
I'm gonna start with, all of our children's staff, went to the open houses at the elementary schools and middle schools. So we were represented the library there, giving out information to parents, about services that we could offer. I had already talked to Chris tonight, but we are applying for the Triumph Grant again this year. It's due on October 31st. We know that. Bailey and Sarah are both, have come up with, different ways they want to, use the money this year. One thing they were talking about was doing more family programming for not just specific ages, but trying to get the family like STEM programming for more families. So you can have bigger programs with more people. And they're, looking at the bigger programs are more expensive too, but right now, what we found with a lot of the programs this summer was they all filled up, but they were limited with numbers. So if we can go with a bigger program that can have more, different ages plus the parents, I think a lot of people would really like that. And it'll be interesting for the parents to see what their, kids are learning as well. So we're gonna have that done by the 31st. We are in the process, the children's office is gonna get redesigned, the furniture's been ordered and, supposed to come in beginning to mid-November. So we're we have our plan in place as to break down. We're gonna paint the office too, because it hasn't been painted in a long time.
Because you can't get to the walls.
Yeah, exactly. But we have to, the Lionheart room is gonna be out of commission for several weeks, because we have to move a lot of the stuff from the children's office there, plus we have to relocate staff in there as well to have workspace. So that is, something that we're working on as well.
May I request a before and after picture?
Sure, sure. Actually, that's good. I'll take the before this week.
Yeah, I mean, the real life before,
Yeah.
not the cleaned up
Yeah,
because
yeah.
she asked for it before.
And then once we get this done, we're gonna start looking at the reference office next. And there's gonna be a senior expo, I think it's November 12th at the senior center, and so the library will be there as well. That's very popular with the seniors in Newington. Our first Sunday opening will be November 10th. So we'll be open 25 Sundays after that. I think the last Sunday is like the first Sunday in May, right?
Yeah, it's usually right as the race is coming up.
Yeah, 2 weeks before that, yep. And then, finally, we just had our staff meeting last Wednesday and we had a librarian she's actually an Enfield librarian, but she's, her name is Sam Lee, and she is the chair of the Connecticut Library Association's Intellectual Freedom Committee. And she came and spoke to staff about, intellectual freedom, book banning, censorship, and gave us a lot of good information about what's been going on within the state and also, how we can handle it at the local level, like, things we should do, what we shouldn't do. Sometimes it's how what you say to people initially, you just want to be careful of your wording. Everybody should have a strong policy in place. They should have reconsideration forms. She gave us some really good tips too, for maybe beefing up our policy as well. So that's something we'll work with the committee to do. But it was really fascinating. I mean, she had been talking about, that some of the different, I think she said in Connecticut alone, they've had 120 something, challenges this past year.
Yeah.
And some of them are the same titles, but some of them are not. And some of them are individuals, some of them are people within the state that are trying to challenge in a bunch of different libraries. So, she was talking about the importance of the policy, but also your form has to have a lot of, you want to make sure that you have a really comprehensive form. Sometimes people aren't going to take the time to fill out a form. They might want to challenge a book, but they don't want to go through the process. And she also said the importance of the process is so that if you can't have somebody going to the town manager first or to a politician first, because we do have a policy at the library on how we do it. So I don't know if a lot of you remember Colchester. What happened there is this one person in the town called the first selectman, and then the next thing you know, he's pulling the book off the shelf. He's going to shut down the children's department, but they actually had a policy in place, so he had to back off because he didn't follow the process. So once we, I'd like to update the policy, but then once we do it, I'm gonna send it to the town council and also to the town manager. I did send it before to them, but we have a new town council, just so that they're aware, the library has a process, so that to lead, let us follow the
So if they're
process.
approached, yeah.
Right.
Yeah, that makes sense.
And just a quick question, because you were saying that, in some cases it's been individuals, requesting across the state, sometimes groups and everything. Does our policy cover that you need to be an individual requesting the ban or
You have to be a Newington resident.
Newington
You have
resident?
to have a library card.
Okay,
But we do ask if you're part of a group.
oh, okay,
But a person in a group could do it, but they still have to have a library card and it has to be an individual
Yeah.
themselves.
it can't be just a group, just.
No,
Okay.
No, so that was really, it was really fascinating. It was good.
Oh, I'm sorry, go ahead.
No, just because I will be reporting back to the council tomorrow night. You'll be sending us at some point
I can send you the, I
the
can send,
policy or?
yeah, I'll send you the policy and the form, but it's probably gonna be updated.
Okay.
But I did send it out a couple years ago when stuff started to heat up again with this kind of thing. Just so they're aware that we have a policy in place, so. if
No, I
someone
think
were to
that's
approach them, they should
extremely
send them to
important.
the library director. Right.
Okay, thank you.
If I could suggest, I think it would be important for you to announce that we have a policy. We've recently had a meeting and we're updating it, but that if anybody approaches them, they should reach out to the library, get the current policy and follow through that end. And it's,
Because I will, and what I will add too is that we had a challenge over the summer. But the one thing that really saved us was, we just updated our, library materials collection policy. And that having that was like key to responding to this person's concerns, like how we choose the materials, the professional librarians are using professional journals for the reviews and things like that. But that really helped us a lot as well. And we just updated it this past year, so.
Yeah, I guess my question was how many challenges have you had this year?
We had one this year.
One, no.
And there was a written challenge, I mean, she filled out the form. But we did respond, we have 30 days to respond to a challenge and then they can respond back, but. The policy, we do have a decent policy, but there's things we can add to make it stronger, but the. Library material selection policy is really good and it really let us respond directly. And this committee that Sam is in charge of, we reached out to them immediately and they were just wonderful about helping us write it. And giving us suggestions, and then they read the response and they gave more suggestions, but. The big thing she said, which your first response when someone does that is to get emotional. But she said, don't, you have to take a step back and just respond as, So it was good, it was very interesting,
excellent, thank you.
that's it.
Any other questions for Lisa? Okay, as I crane my neck around. Next up, Assistant Library Director Karen Benner.
Okay, our circulation supervisor, Katie Cornell, is going to be going out on maternity leave effective November 8th. So I will be working a little more closely with the circulation staff over the next 3 months or so. Katie is a very organized individual, so she's left things in good shape for us. And also in that department, we have recently hired a circulation substitute, Magdalena Day, and she's worked for us for maybe a couple months.
Maybe.
And she actually was offered a full-time position elsewhere, so she's gonna be leaving, so we're gonna be going through the process of hiring a substitute in that department. Just a couple of new programs in technology. We are starting, actually, we're having a program on Wednesday, October 30th. It's social media for books, and it focuses on Instagram, Pinterest, and Goodreads. And just kind of gives tips on how to search for books, how to connect with authors, how to, maintain your bookshelves, keep track of your reading and stuff. So we're looking forward to that. And we are starting a new series beginning November. It's called Morning Tech Talks. It's going to be the first Wednesday of the month. And it's just, people can come and talk about relevant issues, anything that they have on their mind regarding to technology. They can bring their devices, get help with devices and stuff. So what I think we've been talking about a lot and you all have been talking about is the people coming here for community. So with that in mind, you know, we were thinking that, hey, you know, it would be nice to have something where people can talk to each other, you know, not necessarily just sit there and, you know, get instruction from us, but talk to each other. And then if they need our help or want to converse with us, you know, we're there. And then just lastly, our page turners, book discussion group, we are going through our voting process again. So we will have a new list out, this December. So this is, the book group where participants, everybody suggests titles and then we vote, and whoever gets whatever 9 books get the most vote, that's what our titles are for the year. As a matter of fact, I was trying to recruit someone from the board who I had heard was involved in book discussions. I haven't quite convinced her, but anyway, so that's gonna be fun too. And that's it for me. Thank you.
Any questions for Karen? Thank you. Next up is Friends of the Library, Sheila Ralph.
Hi.
Hi.
Our big push right now is next week. We're having a book sale. Anybody who's interested in volunteering, you know, we still have.
I hear volunteers are few and far between, and you've got a lot of medical issues going on.
We got
So
there's
you
a lot of
need-
medical issues going on. There's a lot of strength, and there's a lot of lack of ability to pick up things in the group. So we also have on the other side of that, we have one of the largest collections I've ever seen.
Wow.
We have run out of space in the shed. So, yeah, I mean, I have pictures, maybe you must have
The
seen.
Boy Scouts know this?
Don't
tell.
The Boy Scouts, there's fewer Boy Scouts than there were before, but they're, you know, I think we've got enough people and enough strong bodies, you know, to keep it going, but that's been a challenge. So anybody who wants to help, Thursday night, we're moving everything over, so.
To the senior center?
Yeah, to the senior center. When we have the Boy Scouts, we have the Boy Scouts parents, which do a lot of the Boy Scouts work, of course, and several other people, so. We're starting to work on the Winterfest. We had our first meeting on that, and we started by reviewing a lot of the comments from last year.
Is there a date for that?
The 17th.
January 17th?
January 17th.
That earlier than usual?
No, it's always the third Friday. Right?
Like, yeah. So, you know, we're getting ready for that. They're doing on December 15th, there's gonna be, there's a box back there. Gift wrap. They're looking for donations of gift wrapping. They're going to do a gift wrap session for people. You know, we come in and wrap up to three packages and suggested donations. So it's another
And
fundraiser.
What's that day?
The Sunday, actually, we're doing it on a Sunday.
Sunday, December 15th.
Right, yeah, 1 to 4.
So you're looking for just wrapping paper, you want ribbons or?
Wrapping paper,
Bags,
anything.
ribbons,
yeah.
paper, anything?
And we have, I mean.
Specifically Christmas?
Right, oh,
Christmas, yeah.
any holiday, right, that in December, I think, or Kwanzaa.
Hanukkah, yeah, that stuff. We also, I mean, we have a very large collection at the book sale this year of, when we started asking for craft supplies, we got a very great variety of things. Up to and including a child's guitar. So,
Wow.
it's just, you know, and if they donate it, we'll put a price tag on it and see what we can do with it. So, it'll be over there.
Great.
Can I mention the reception?
Oh, yeah.
The Friends had their reception Saturday, so they had a membership drive in September and part of October. And they had a reception for Friends. I think they had, Claire said between 100 and 150 people.
Wow.
came.
Nice.
That's
To
good.
the library.
Just to the library,
Yeah.
probably
Great.
their free gift, but. And cookies.
Yeah. It's always the cookies that do it.
Yeah. But if you are a friend and you might want to check to see if your membership is current. If you're not sure, let us know. And if you're not a friend, we could have applications that we can give you. So the Friends raised, I think it was over 40,000 this year that we're gonna get, we got in the budget. So anything, that membership is part of that fundraising, so, but it was, I was not there, but, I know they did a really good job, so. Just wanted to mention that. And it's, I don't know if anyone here, if you want to volunteer at the book sale, to just let Sheila know. What day or what time and stuff,
Yeah, we have all sorts of interesting times. Friday night's always an interesting night. That's when the dealers come.
Do you have enough counters for Friday?
we can always,
use another one
Yeah.
for Friday especially.
yeah.
You can put me down. I didn't get an email this year.
Oh, I don't know why several people have told me that they didn't get emails on it. Yeah, okay.
I'll be there Friday, 5 o'clock.
5 o'clock, yes.
Is that when the doors open at 5?
That was open at 5 o'clock.
Oh, the doors open at 5?
They'll come at 4:30.
So
Yeah,
come earlier.
yeah, 4:30 we start selling them, and we do have the police are going to have a presence in the parking lot.
Good.
When we're doing the cash sales in the parking lot.
Great.
You know, both Sunday and Friday, we do them, for just a short period of time before we open the doors, but, it's, in this day and age, it's not.
That's good. It's a good idea.
Well, especially at night, it's dark early now.
Yeah, so. Love to see anybody who wants to come.
Thanks, Sheila. Any other questions from friends? Up on the screen, no? Karen, you're gonna wave at me, that's up on the screen, right? With so many people remote, sometimes they text me, so I will look to look at that. Okay, next up is committee reports, budget, Leah? No report. Yeah, okay. Typically our budgets start in January or December, January with the staff.
December is when they get hit with it.
Yeah, and then it's due the first week of January. Okay. Thank you, Leanne. Pat, planning evaluation and policy, Pauline?
Nothing right now. I got hit with stuff that's going on in my other job. And hopefully by the first week of November, everything is all through.
Good. Don't you have forms to pass out?
I have a whole bunch of forms I have copied. For the trustees ethics statement. So just take one and sign it and, yeah, hasn't changed since the 15th.
Right, if you're on the board, and it's something that we do annually. Pretty much conflicts of interest and how you answer. So, for those of you who've been in town for a long time, you might be familiar with a company called Stan Construction, so. Am I signing this in the ethics form if for some reason the library was looking to hire Stan Construction for whatever they could do? I would have to absent myself from those. I'd have to identify the connection, it might be easy for some people to figure it out, but I'd have to identify the connection and absent myself from that. And so it's just saying, you know, you've read through this, you understand and you'll comply.
Do you want the liaisons to sign?
You don't vote.
That's true. But I will take this as.
If you wanted to take it and model yourself after it, it would be appropriate. But, and then if we could just, pass it back. Pauline, do you wanna keep them or?
Yeah.
Okay. So just take a moment to read through it and, it's pretty basic. And then who's online? So we have Neil, Anna and Andy. So we'll have to follow up with them to get their
Yeah,
signatures.
I will mail it out, or in Neil's case, I will deliver it to Neil's house.
Thank you. Any other questions or items for Pat? Today is 10/21/24, if you're wondering. No? All right, then we'll move on to investment with Neil Ryan.
Okay, I sent out the reports earlier this afternoon. The investment portfolio as of September 30th, 24, it stands at $833,205.80. For the month, it was up about $8,200. So for the year, dollar wise, we're up about $68,000, which averages out to about, I don't know, 7%, 8%. But by and large, it's been a good year, pretty much throughout. And there's really nothing more I can say other than we've been progressing very well. Our portfolio, been doing very well, and that's tribute to Dean, our financial advisor. The man is a wizard. Newington's version of Warren. That's what I think about it. He's Newington's version of Warren Buffett. And so that's the investment portfolio. I also sent out the spreadsheet. I wasn't sure if I'd send this out, but for informational purposes, I sent out the spreadsheet for the Hooker portfolio, and Leanne gave a very good detailed explanation of the dollar figures for the Hooker portfolio. And according to the report we received from Dean, as of September 30th, the value of the portfolio stood at $355,270. Well, actually, it's for $355,705.60. So that means it's increased about $13,000 from its base or its starting point. So it's already earning money. But I look at the portfolio, they've got some real blue chip stocks. They've got Alphabet, they've got Abbott Laboratories. I think they bought the shares back in 1984. That's how far back it goes. So they got some really good blue chip stocks in their portfolio. So it's had a good first month for us.
Great.
That's about it.
Okay. Any questions for Neil on investment committee? No. All right. House, Diane Stam. So this time of year is when we set up a walkthrough for our building and kind of make a list of maintenance items and what have you. Everyone on the House committee, of course, is welcomed and expected, but several years ago it became quite popular, so we opened it up to everyone on the board. So anyone who's interested in taking a walkthrough, it's more of a, what does our building look like? What are our challenges? What needs updating, whether it's paint in the corner or furniture refurbishing or, space constraints, stuff like that. We pick, normally it's a Saturday, and I'll tell you quite frankly, I picked the Saturday that Lisa, Karen, and Carolyn can be available, and then we try to fill in, everybody else because they're the ones in the know and they lead us through as we do that. So I do not have a date for it right now, but we will be scheduling that and I'll send out an email. And again, just because you're not on House committee, if you're interested, you are welcome. We come to the side door around 9 o'clock in the morning on the day of, and then we start walking through the library. What that means is if you come to that side door at like 9:10, we may be gone and the library doesn't open until 10. So you might miss the tour, if you will. So again, everybody's welcome when we have the date. I will send out the email, but that's kind of where it comes or goes. Yes, Pauline?
And this is Pauline. I would recommend that anyone who is new, who has not gone through it, you've gone through the tour, but this is just the tour. This is the tour. This is the Academy Award tour.
This is the nitty-gritty tour.
Right. And you really, really, really have to get down to the nitty-gritty, and at least once. And it's fun. It is fun. It's a little strange, but it's fun. You find nooks and crannies you never knew in here. And then you get to go outside and walk around the library. And you keep your fingers crossed that the weather's halfway decent.
Yeah, we always try to get it on a good day. But of course, who knows? It's either 85 or we've got 3 inches of snow. We never know at this time of year.
But it's really good.
Look, everybody's news, yeah. I have a question. Okay, go ahead, Maureen.
The sidewalk on the handicapped ramp. Haven't we discussed, hasn't that been in the hopper for a long time?
It has, they've shaved it, they've put caulking in it, they've done different things to
It's
try
pretty
to
dangerous.
even it out.
I mean, it's dangerous when I can walk normally, but with a little bit of infirmity, it's uneven.
And those are the people most likely to use a ramp, those people that are.
But even not the ramp coming from parking, but from The walk.
The walkway,
where the walk
Melcozy Way.
Is just in terrible disrepair. So it would affect any patron.
We will, so normally what happens with something like that, the town is responsible, so we'll open a work order. Anybody could break that down, and, we'll also make sure that that is brought up in our walkthrough. Thank you. Kim, you had a question?
Yes, there are a few folks on the council who have not done the tour of the library. I'm wondering if I could, you get the date, share that with a couple of folks who, may want to be able to take that opportunity.
Oh, they get the down and dirty.
Yeah,
Well,
Yeah.
it's a different kind of.
they would get the down and dirty.
I may do it again myself.
Yes, you're more than welcome. I would say yes. I would say if the whole town council is coming, and the whole, but yeah.
Yeah, I don't think
If
so.
it's a onesie twosie thing, not a problem. I'm just thinking that if we have 7 people from there and 10 people from here and whatever, it's gonna look like a choo-choo train going through the thing, and it may not be as, helpful, but
Yeah,
certainly.
no, I think there are only a couple of, relatively new, counselors who hadn't had the opportunity the last time we did the walkthrough. And I'd like to encourage them to.
I think that
do
would be great, because we've been talking about trying to get the new people to come for a walkthrough.
You just send me the date when you get.
Okay.
And I'll try to be here myself and pass it on to a few of these other folks.
Okay, great. So that's it. That's how we pretty much do the walkthrough, and then there's the long list for those that have been here before, and we go through things like replace the light plate and we need a new roof and carpet tiles or anything else like that. So when we get that date, we'll have it out there. All right. And next up, if there's no other questions for House, anything online, you have to keep. I'm counting on you to call, slow me down if it's needed. Facility and site, and you see we've got Maureen and Christopher listed. Maureen is stepping down as chair and Christopher is taking over, but I'm sure there'll be a lot of overlap.
She runs the other direction.
So basically the update on this, we had our September 23rd special meeting where we had the architect come in, Andrew Berman and Vinci. Is that how you- Vinci, so that's how you pronounce it. To just basically discuss our concerns regarding the presentation. They're very helpful and I think clarifying a lot of issues. I think we still had some concerns that we passed back to them. And the latest status that we have is, Vinci has responded saying that, within 2 weeks, they expect to incorporate our comments that we've had and pass it back to the board for us to review before we would proceed again to Mark.
Specifically with the interior.
The interior was the design.
The interior design and pictures, right? Good. Excellent. Any questions for Christopher? I'm trying to get better between saying Chris and Chris and saying Christopher and Christine, because I noticed that when we go back to the minutes and you get the transcript, they don't know who I'm talking about.
And the transcript sometimes automatically spells my name C, so.
Right.
At least if we get the Topher on it, we know, it's you, even if it's spelled incorrectly. So, pardon me for sounding formal, but that's what I'm attempting to do. So I'm sorry, any questions online? No? Thank you. You guys are working very well during the transition. I appreciate that. Fund development, Anna Eddy?
Hi, thank you. First I want to say thank you to everybody for participating in the rewrite of the flyer. And for responding so quickly to the email vote to get the funds passed. And I'm assuming it's all been printed and it's stuffed into the footnotes, right?
Yeah. I don't know if you heard it, but we were just told it's all set.
Oh, good. And there will be some things coming up with Legacy regarding recommendations, but I was a little bit behind the 8 ball because I was away for a little bit. But I think it worked out well because now I have an expanded committee and, so I'll run these recommendations by the committee before we bring that to the board. And that's it for now.
Super.
All right.
I'd add my thanks, to Anna's thanks for quick responses. Sometimes we get emails and it's just informational, but when you can respond when we need it, it's appreciated by all. I thank you. Any questions for Anna on any of that? No? All right. We'll move on to nominations, and I'm sorry, the agenda says forms, but as you know, this isn't the time for nominations, so sorry I missed that.
We have a while. Although we do have 2 open positions
On
the board,
the board,
just
Yes.
not, it's not a
a
nomination
corporate and a
issue,
town,
but
right, okay.
if anybody has any
Anybody knows it,
friend, foe,
That's a
family,
Republican
whatever, it might
a
be.
corporate and a Republican,
corporate and one Republican.
Yes,
Yeah. I believe, okay, thank you. Communications, George, whose last name is my mission to spell correctly at some point.
I don't have any update, but,
No.
yeah.
Okay, so he nicely stepped in. Fiona York, as you know, had to resign from the board, so thank you for taking over that position. I am expecting that as we go forward, that communications and facility and site will be working very closely on trying to figure out how we will inform the town going forward in terms of what we're looking for the renovation and what our goals are, what we've thought about, what goes through on that. So I'm sure the committees will be working individually and together on their projects. And, you know, this is important for everyone.
Possible resources. Andrew Berman had mentioned, he had given me the name of a woman quite a while ago, but she's not actually a PR person.
Okay.
She's more of a facilitator, you know, so I'm not sure that's what we want. But Sonia Richardson, Sonia,
The town grant
the
person.
town grant writer. In her staff, they have people that do PR work too, so I think that's probably the
Yeah.
person.
So we'll
with
bubble
whom
those names up
we
and you
should.
guys can interview them and figure out.
And also Sonia and her staff are familiar with the library, the town, et cetera, so it might be a better fit. I'm not sure how that piece works with them, you know, irrespective of the grant writing, but we can explore that.
And I just want to mention one thing from the grants. We need to figure out a structural engineer. So Christopher, if
Yeah.
you can reach out to Eric and follow up with him. He was looking for someone
Okay,
at some point because we need
He
that. Or
actually
we
had a name,
can't,
I think.
we cannot, move forward and submit the grant application for the state of Connecticut. That's what stopped us a
We need
year
a
ago.
structural structural engineer report to submit the grant.
And when is that next?
It probably won't be till the spring. So
Spring.
the last time it was April,
Yeah.
and then
The
April
course-
and June, I think, were.
Yeah. So there's a course that Leanne volunteered to take. You have to take the course to do that grant. Then there's,
It's an online tutorial,
It's a
it's
webinar
not,
thing.
you don't
Yeah.
have to go anywhere.
but then, we have to write a letter saying that we're planning to submit.
That's the June thing.
That's a June thing. Then we have to work on submitting and getting the answers. And we have a lot of that stuff from the last time we did it. So hopefully it's not as crazy.
Anybody can attend, you just have to let Lisa know to register. us.
Right, so I have to
But-
register you.
Actually, if only one person attended, it would still cover
The
the
board.
board for the grant.
Right.
And we did a lot of work on that, state grant. It probably needs tweaking, but a good part of
Updating,
it's
yeah.
done,
A lot
especially
of
when we
it
get the
is.
structural engineers report. So we're not going to be starting from.
Right, but without that report,
We can't.
we can't submit, so we need that. Okay, so thank you. That's communications.
I would just like to mention something though, when the slide came up for communication to me, I think it still listed Fiona's name on there, so I'm sure it doesn't matter for the minutes, but.
I think it probably is the old slide. I'll fix it
Yeah.
here.
Yeah.
It's me.
Okay.
Thank you, Russ.
Open board positions, as was stated, we have two open board positions, one corporate and one Republican town nominee, so friends, family. Anyone that you think would be interested and benefits the board, we're happy to hear about them. Okay, next
Have
is,
the, excuse me, are the Republican, is it Republican Town Committee
Mhm.
aware?
Oh, yes, oh, yeah, I am in good communication and have been hassling them, so.
encouraging.
Encouraging.
Encouraging. We'll have to put you to work with the communications committee so you can work on those words.
No, they're trying, they are.
Yes.
Hard to get people.
Can I just
Hard to
say
get
that
people.
from COVID, when everybody, stopped volunteering and joining meetings, there was a lot of attrition in all sorts of boards. And I am so pleased to see so many people, at this table. And I think we were very, I'll say lucky or blessed with the people that we have here. I think we have a great group of people. Even the new people have already started to step up and shine and do things. So, thank you for that. All right, new business. Does anybody have anything for new business?
I have one item, we are members of the Association of Connecticut Library Boards, and they're,
And that's where Sam or?
No, Sam is Connecticut Library Association. That's
Okay.
ACLP that she's.
yeah, it's
talking about.
ACLB that
And the
we're
difference
members
is?
of. It's the library board.
Associated.
Okay, library boards, as
Library
opposed to
boards.
libraries.
And they have an upcoming event that you can register online. It's Standing Strong, the three-legged stool approach for libraries.
It's Diane's.
Diane did that.
1,000 years
It's,
ago, I named our
It's
association the
it's
three.
online on
Friends
Wednesday,
Library.
October 30th at 7 PM, and we can register for the webinar at the ACLB website.
What is that?
Excuse me, Wednesday, October 30th at 7 PM. But
What else is
we are
October?
members.
I was gonna say
so-
something else.
Something
That's
else was just announced as being October 30th. What was that?
the social media for books.
Ah,
Right.
thank you.
So,
She's on your team.
but just so you're aware, if anybody wants to attend, we are members, you can go on and
And it's
attend.
about what? The
It's,
three-legged stool was?
and there's the moderator is well-known in Connecticut broadcasting, and they're gonna talk about the cooperation of the groups is essential for the library to function optimally and deliver its full array of services. Should discord arise, or if any of these groups falter, the library's ability to serve effectively is compromised. So that's how they go into the how we all work together.
Speaker or moderator?
Larry Rifkin?
Oh, yeah. I think I should sign up for that. Anybody else want to sign up
I
for that?
can't do it that night, so you take the paper then.
I take the paper. Anybody
Yeah,
else?
We only get
interested in
one copy because we're.
Excuse me, Diane?
Yes.
Anna.
Hi, Anna.
So, I didn't have an opportunity to speak up before, but one of the things I've been trying to do is to have a follow-up to that post-race meeting. I've been trying to get into the queue to have an online meeting, but if that's an issue, I can do it in-house. I was hoping to call it for a week from today. There are a number of things that, we left, people were assigned to do, and we need to follow up on it. We need to sign off on the wording for the the non-binary category that we're adding. And we need to do that because at the last time we met, you asked to have, because we're doing the price increase, you asked to have the announcements ready for January. And so we need to meet sooner rather than later, so I can get to work on that along with everything else. So I'm just throwing that out.
Okay, so my understanding is that you worked with Karen and there is a Zoom link for Monday, the 28th.
Okay, I have not gotten that notice.
What's that, Anna? I'm
She's
sorry.
not gotten that notice, she says.
Yes, I sent it to you last week, but I can resend it.
So the link is for Monday, the 28th
At 7?
Was it 7 that you asked for?
Yes,
Yeah.
okay, I
So,
didn't get that
you can
notice.
get your car and come here.
I
Everybody
saw
would
other
be-
stuff. I don't know why I didn't see that. Sorry.
Okay.
What I'll do tomorrow is I'll regroup and send out the list of open items and assignments
Okay.
so that people who have assignments can come back to the meeting on Monday if they're available. And, or send me whatever they need.
I think it would be helpful if anybody was available that they could join that meeting. Is there anybody here
When is
that knows that they can't Monday night, 7 o'clock? Zoom only?
I can't make it.
Pauline cannot make it, okay?
I'm
Okay.
learning how to make, mozzarella cheese.
Yeah.
Well, you can share that recipe with us, Pauline.
Okay.
Recipe.
So,
Just put the cheese.
It would be great, look in your emails, you didn't send it out to everybody, you just sent it to
I just sent
Anna
it to
and me,
Anna
right?
and I think Lisa.
Yeah, it was on
Yeah,
the
okay.
17th.
So, Anna, if you wanna look at that and, forward it out with your notes to everyone.
I will.
That link.
Okay, thank
Thank-
you.
Okay, so just before we forget it, one more thing, does anybody else wanna sign up for this Standing Strong? Okay. I'll hang on to the paper and I'll sign up. What do I do to sign up? Okay. And I don't have to pay money or anything.
No, remember, we pay money.
What is the due?
$100 a year.
Oh, well worth it. Okay. Thank you. So new business, that was the race follow-up meeting and the ACLB meetings. At this time, I'm gonna ask for, public participation before we go into our executive session. Is there public online anywhere? No? And I don't see public here. Okay. We're going to break to go into our executive session, but because it's an executive session, we have to switch over. So for you folks who are online, you should have also gotten a link for the executive session. We're gonna switch to that link, but that also means we have to change some of this in-house equipment on. So don't panic if we're not right there, right when you get there. We've got, people setting that up. And, all that we're gonna do is at the end of the executive session, we'll come back in, make a report, and, then we'll ask for motion to adjourn. Okay?
Maureen?
So,
Right.
so
Diane,
those of
it's
you online, Anna, hold on, one voice.
Anna and Neil, you need to leave this meeting to get on to the other link. to the
Right.
other meeting.
I'm gonna sign off, but I'm not gonna sign into the executive meeting. Okay,
Why?
because
Yeah.
I need to take care of other things.
Oh, right.
Okay, thank you.
Right, so we're gonna go to the executive session. Okay.
I would entertain a motion
Hold on.
for adjournment.
Motion.
Oh, I'll second it.
George makes the motion. I've got to write this down. George makes the motion.
You don't need a
Chris.
second for adjournment.
Christine
Do we want to hand our ethics?
seconded,
Ethics statement.
and our meeting ended at 9:17. Thank you, everyone. This is not an easy meeting, and I appreciate your
That's okay.
showing up and